Hello, everyone, and welcome to our third and last session of the business training of the Hubiquitous project. In this last session, we are going to focus on the customer part of the business model canvas. So, thank you very much for your attention, and let's go.
So welcome to this last mentorship session. I want to thank you all for your participation in the previous session. And as we did, we are going to follow the common index that we have established for all these sessions. We are going to start with a brief recap of what we saw in the previous sessions, just to know or to refresh all these contents. After that, I will make a brief introduction about what we are going to see today. And then I will go deeply in the different concepts that we are going to see. That are all the points related to the customer and to the revenue streams in the business model canvas. So let's start with this session. And as we can see here, in this brief recap, in the previous sessions, we saw different points. In the session number 2, we saw the value proposition after defining the problem and the solution. And this value proposition is what is going to make the difference in our solution. And in the last session, session number 3, we saw the internal part of the business model canvas. And this internal part is the part that we conceive and that we see as a business. It is going to be, it is going to gather all the points that build our business. Okay, so we saw the key activities, which are the different things that we are going to do in order to meet the value proposition. Also the key resources that represent the different things that we are going to need. It doesn't matter if they are material things or intellectual resources, or even things that are not material or human resources, and so that we are going to need to develop also our value proposition and the activities that we have defined. We saw also the key partners that we will need in the future, or in order to develop our solution, as we saw there, for example, a logistics partner or a marketing partner. And finally, we saw the cost structure that represented the cost proportion between the different activities that we were going to develop. For example, if we need a specific amount in order to develop the marketing activities, and a specific amount for the human resources, and a specific amount for material resources, and so, okay? So these were the points. If you don't remember a specific content, I recommend you to watch again, to rewatch the different sessions that we had in the past, because it is really interesting and really important for you to develop these points deeply in order to have to generate a good impact with your business model canvas presentation. Okay. And what are we going to see today? Well, today we are going to see the right part of the business model canvas, that is the external points. These are the points that our users are going to perceive, that are going to see from us. Okay, this is the definition of our business from an external point of view. So as you can see here, we are going to define the customer segments that are the market segments that we are going to address with our value proposition. Okay, so we have to keep in mind that maybe at this point with the value proposition we have defined this segment, but we have to give this segment a name and a surname. Okay, and then we are going to define the customer relationship and the channels. Okay, the channels that we are going to use in order to communicate with our customers, which are going to be the services that we are going to offer in order to create and develop this relationship, and the tools that we are going to develop in order to implement this communication in these relationships. And finally, we will see the revenue streams. That is the balance between the price that we have in mind, and that we want to charge to our customers, and the price that these customers are willing to pay for my solution. Okay, so we have to find this balance in order to be cost effective and to ensure that our business is going to be sustainable in time. Okay, so these are the points that we are going to see today. And now, starting from the customer segments, we have to define, as I've said, our target audience. Okay, we have to answer the question, who is my business targeted to? as I've said, maybe we have just defined this target group unconsciously during the previous phases, as when we define the value proposition, we have identified this end customer. So at this point, we have to define this and to describe this end customer in order to offer a better view of what we have in mind, okay? So let's start with a brief definition. Who is my target audience? A customer segment is a group of people, a group of users, or maybe a group of users, or maybe an organization or a group of organizations for whom our project has been defined and creates value, okay? So those users have different problems or different needs that we are going to meet, we are going to satisfy with our solution. It doesn't matter if our solution is a material solution or is a service, okay? But we have to keep in mind that our solution has to answer these needs, has to satisfy these problems that they have, okay? So in order to properly define this target group, we have to keep in mind different kind of features or different kind of characteristics that we have here in this slide, okay? So on one hand, we have to wonder ourselves the different geographic characteristics that define our target group, okay? This is really important because, for example, if you are placed in Spain, you are not going to find the same problems or the same needs that if you are placed in Finland. For example, we know that starting from a simple point, the weather is completely different in Finland than in Spain. So you are going to find different problems or different situations in these two countries, okay? So it is really important to place geographically our end customers, and if our solution is going to be international, maybe we have to make a description or a definition to find the common features that all the people are going to have independently of their geographical space, okay? And at this point, for example, it's really important also to wonder if our solution is going to answer the needs of a person that lives in the city or the needs of a person that lives in the country, okay? Because it is really different, the lifestyle of a person that lives in the middle of the city, because maybe they are going to have a different means of transport to move from one part to other of the city. Maybe they are going to have a more stressful life, or maybe they are going to find a lot of services that you cannot find in the country, or maybe they are going to miss the fresh air of the country. And on the other hand, if you live in the country, maybe you will have more difficulties to move from the country to the city, or maybe you will find some difficulties to find specific services in the place in which you live, because your city is smaller than the place in which you live is smaller than the city, and maybe you cannot find, for example, a specific shop. Or maybe according to medical services, the medical services that you will find in the city will be different from the ones that you will find in the country. Okay, so these are points that you have also to include in your geographical definition of your customer segment, okay? Then you have also the socio-demographic characteristics, okay? These characteristics are defined by the age. For example, you know that there are different generations. You can find millennials, you can find the Gen Z also, and they have different features. I recommend you to search on the internet the different features that you have according to the different generations. So, for example, if you are targeting your solution to young people, you will have millennials and Gen Z instead of boomers or other generations that are older, okay? And this social demographic, you have the age, and you have also to take into account the earnings. Maybe if you are developing a solution for which you have to pay, you have to take into account that if this solution is addressed to young people, they are going to have less earnings than older people. So you have to adjust the price to this characteristic. Also the family, maybe if they are young people, they are going to have parents, and or maybe they are going to have siblings of the same age, and the family situation is going to be different. Maybe they are not going to be married, and they are not going to have kids if they are really young. For example, if we are talking to people that is attending to the institute, to the high school, or even to the university, most of them are not going to have a family on their own. So this is also a characteristic that you have to take into account. And also the civil status, as I have said, they could be married or not married, or they could be divorced. All the civil status also affect and generate an influence on the customer segment that we are defining. And the religion is also an important thing to take into account, because maybe it is going to determine some habits in their daily life, and so, okay. And then you have the psychographic features, and these psychographic features refer to the habits that this person have. For example, if you are addressing, as I've said, let's continue with this example, an app that it is going to be addressed to people that is at high school and it's really young. The habits are going to be completely different from the habits that a person that is working in an enterprise and that has 2 children, they are going to have completely different habits, okay? So you have to take into account this. Also the attitude that they have in front of life. To define the attitude, I recommend you to take into account the age groups. For example, millennials are characterized by a specific behavior. Millennials are more frustrated, for example, and you have to take into account that, because it is going to be the general attitude that they are going to have in front of life. So just take into account that they maybe your target group is going to be to have a frustrated attitude. So how could you solve that, or to meet this need? Also the lifestyle, if they are young people, they are going to have a different lifestyle, or if you are addressing people that loves sports, maybe they are going to be really active in the daily life, and this is something that you have to take into account. And maybe this lifestyle just has other problems. For example, I like to exercise, so I do not have time for other things. How could I reschedule my daily life in order to find time for other things that I like, for example? And also the personality of your final user. Okay, you have these are more related to the person itself. And then you have the behavior of your target group, which are their routines. I wake up every day at 9 o'clock and I exercise, or whatever. Okay, which are the routines that they are going to follow? Which are their hobbies? As I said, if you are focusing a more active population, maybe doing sports is going to be one of the hobbies. And the willingness to pay. And all of these characteristics are related. For example, the willingness to pay of a person that is younger and that belongs to a high social class, it is going to be higher than the willingness to pay of a person that is younger but has a lot of things to pay. Maybe they are not going to pay for your app. So, okay, this is something that you have to take into account, especially if you want to fix a price for your final product. I give you here a tool that I recommend you to implement in your business model canvas. Maybe you can use the slide that is dedicated to the customer segment. You can include this template that I have put here. And the user persona is a tool that helps us to understand your customer segment. I recommend you to create 1 or 2 user types that will act as the general profile and that will represent the whole target audience. Okay, you have to make a really general description of your ideal person. Okay, if you have to define someone that will be your perfect buyer, this is the tool to describe this perfect buyer. Okay, so I recommend you to include a picture, and you can find, for example, photos, beautiful photos and free photos in Unsplash. It's a website. I will send it. I will include this website in the description of the video. You can include a photo. For example, if you are addressing this solution to young women, you can find a picture of a young woman and put it there. And generate a brief profile. The profile will include the name. Just include a name that you like. For example, if your favorite name is Miranda, you can put that Miranda is going to be your user persona. Okay, the name of the person, the age of this person, the gender of this person, the job, just in order to have a general profile of this person. So let's continue with Miranda. So Miranda has a problem. You have to define the problem that Miranda has in order to show that your solution is going to answer this problem. The problem of Miranda could be exactly the same, but a little bit reformulated just to make it more personal. Then you have to put some quotes of your user persona, just in order to let us know and to make it funnier, this fictitious character. For example, an example of a quote could be, I am Miranda and I love to exercise myself during weekends, but I love playing tennis. I love going out with my friends on Saturday evenings. That will be like some quotes that could be a little bit descriptive, okay? And then you have to put some info about the personality of your character, okay? About their behavior. For example, you can list some points of the behavior of your character. I don't know. For example, I love playing my favorite sport or their favorite. Just in this point, I recommend you to speak in third person, okay? She loves playing tennis. She loves going out with friends and visit Italian restaurants, for example. She loves, she has a job as marketing director and things like that. Yes, to describe the personality of your character. And then we are going to start with the technological skills and the technological part of your user persona. So first of all, you have to put the technology skills. At this point, you are going to describe if your user knows how to use the technology that you are proposing. For example, if you're proposing an app that uses augmented reality, maybe your user should be familiarized with that kind of apps. Or if you're going to include a chatbot in your solution, your user should be familiarized with this, should be familiar with these chatbots, okay? For example, you can put that she uses an app and she communicates with the app using the chatbot instead of calling to the call center of the app. Okay, so at this point you are going to put if this person has a web page development skills, or if she's familiar with SEO techniques, if she uses sustainable technologies, if she's familiarized with artificial intelligence or big data or analytics, whatever. Okay, here you're going to put the technology skills that this person has. And then you're going to include which kind of devices and platforms she uses. So for example, Miranda has a smartphone and a tablet, and she has the Nike training app, and she has also the app of their gym installed in their mobile phone. She uses, for example, different web pages to buy online clothes. For example, Oysho, that is the Inditex sports brand. If she uses YouTube to follow some training tutorials, or if she uses Instagram to share their training routines and things like that. Okay, so at this point, you're going to put all the devices and platforms that Miranda uses. And finally, you are going to put the apps that Miranda uses, okay? Which are the ones that she uses more regularly. Social media apps, for example, Instagram, delivery apps. If she, for example, uses, I don't know, Just Eat, to order, or if she uses other apps to order food or to order whatever, if she uses car sharing apps, or if she as she's really active, she is using, for example, these bike sharing apps that some cities have, and she hasn't to buy her own bike, or if she uses also the public administration app. If you have a smart city solution, maybe she should be familiarized with the public administration app of their city, retail apps for shopping, for example, as I've said, Oisho and Amazon, other marketplaces, all the devices that you could find interesting and related to your solution. And finally, you are going to expose the pains and gains. That is, what does our user expect from our app? For example, if she is a really active person, but she needs an app that helps her to organize their daily routines. Maybe you are going to put here, since I am a really active person, I need a device, an app that helps me to organize and to plan my week, because I do not have time for everything. Okay, so this could be like the pains and gains. I need this, and this pains and gains formulation, this sentence that you are going to include here, has to describe your solution in an indirect way. Okay, just in order to show that this person exactly is looking for what you are developing. Okay, and finally, you have to describe the relationship with your solution. Okay, so at this point, you have to explain how is going this user to interact with your solution. Okay, for example, this smart mobility app helps me in my everyday journey to the university from the outskirts of the city. This could be a great description of the relationship with my solution. So I recommend you to use this tool in order to define your customer segments. Okay, it is really visual, it is really dynamic, and it is even funny to develop this kind of template. Okay, and this kind of description of your user. Well, once we have defined our customer segment, we have to define the customer relationships that we are going to generate. Okay, so we have to take care of our customers, and at this point, we are going to see how are we going to take care of our customers with the different channels and the different relationships or different services that we are going to offer to our customer. Okay, so each kind of customer is going to need a specific relationship. Okay, and these relationships are also related to our value proposition and to our customer segment. Okay, everything is linked in this business model canvas. So we have to set all the relationships that we want to set, want to establish, and we want to maintain with our customers. And we have to always keep in mind that these relationships should be sustainable and cost effective, because if we just develop wonderful relationships, but they are too expensive for our business model, we are not going to be sustainable, and we are not going to be capable to develop a promise that is not going to be fulfilled. Okay, we are going to make a promise that we are not going to be able to fulfill. So be realistic and set the relationships that we are capable to develop. Okay, so at this point, the tip that we give to you is to define the activities that your team is going to develop in order to attract and in order to maintain customers, always keeping in mind the cost effectiveness of your solution. Okay, the cost effectiveness of your solution. So here we have the definition. As always, the customer relationship describes the types of relationships that a company establishes with a specific market segment. Okay, and these relationships can range from personal to automated relationships. That is, you can define a relationship in which you are face to face with your customer, or just talking at the phone or sending emails and so, or maybe you can develop an automated relationship. for example, a chatbot or a newsletter that you have programmed in order to send to your customers in a massive way. And these relationships have a deep influence on the overall customer experience, okay? This is also a tip. As much as we personalize the relationship, the better impression we are going to, and the better influence they are going to have in our final customers, okay? So here we have a list of the different kinds of relationships that we can generate. First of all, we have the personal assistance. This relationship is direct. It could be direct and indirect. The personal assistance, for example, could be in a physical point of selling point, okay? If you go to a store and a person that is working there just advises you, it's a direct relationship, okay? Then we have the dedicated personal assistance that is more individualized. For example, if you enter into a Louis Vuitton shop, you are going to have a really individualized and really personalized experience in which you are going to have a person that is going to advise during all the process and that is going to be there with a smile helping you, because it is a luxury brand. And maybe this experience is not going to be as individualized in, for example, another low cost or fast fashion shop in which you go inside the shop and maybe the people that is working there is really nice to you, but they are not going to be with you during all the process, okay? Then you have the self-service. I'm sure that you, all of you, have visited a supermarket in which you have different lanes and you have different places to pay, and then you have the self-service in which you just charge for your own products, put it all of them in your bag, pay all alone in front of this in front of the point of the selling point. You pay for the things that you have shopped, and then you go home, and nobody is with you during this process. Or even, for example, in the self-service buffet, if you go into a restaurant, you have a table full of food, and then you put the food that you want on your dish, then you go to your table, and nobody is serving you the food directly, okay? So this could be a self-service example. Then you have automated services that are directly simulated. These automated services, as I have said, could be a chatbot. For example, if you enter in a website, you have any doubt, and there's a small pop-up on one side of the web page, and in this pop-up you have a chat. You make questions, and the chat answers you automatically using artificial intelligence and gives you a solution to simple questions, okay? And if the chatbot is not able to solve your problems, the chatbot just sends you an email, or sends you a contact email, sends you a contact phone, just in order to address you to a person that is going to answer to your needs, okay? So the automated services will be, for example, a chatbot. Then you have, you can also create a community that is a collective. For example, if you have a group of users that are using your app, maybe you can create a community, and in this community you can offer activities, you can offer a more personalized attention. And so, for example, there are some brands that with the different usual buyers create communities even on WhatsApp or Instagram, and they offer special prices or special products to this community, and they have a name, and they have this belonging, they have this feeling of belonging to something bigger, okay, and to have just a direct participation on the brand. And finally, you have the co-creation. The co-creation customer relationship means that you are going to involve your customer in the creation process, okay? For example, in these communities, some of these customer relationships are could be combined, okay? So, for example, in this kind of communities, maybe you are going to find or you are going to have a person that is going to directly ask. For example, for this season, we have these two colors. which of these two colors do you like the most to develop, for example, or to create the new shirt that we are going to have as the best products of the next season? And they make a voting, they initiate a voting process, and this community votes for their favorite color, and then they use this color to create the best product of the season. Okay, so or the color that is going to be the main color of the season, and this is how they participate in the process, okay, in the co-creation. Or maybe you can use comments and suggestions and other tools like surveys and so, in order to ask to your customers which are the points that they want to improve, and then you implement these points that they have suggested you. And this is also a co-creation process in which you have an initial version of your product, and the customers help you to refine this process, this product, and to improve this product according to their particular needs. Okay, so this is also a co-creation process, and this leads to really good results because it is really easy to ask to your customers what they want and to see which of these suggestions are easy to implement and are going to lead to better benefits to your company. Okay. Here we have some examples in the personal assistance. As I have said, we have the direct personal assistance, we have face-to-face or by telephone calls and physical stores. And so the indirect relationships are by email technologies or maybe using newsletters or social media in order to address them in an indirect way, or even to answer some suggestions through the private direct messages. Then the individualized experience, it is fully customized communication. Your customer has to feel like they are the only customer of the brand. You are going to send personal emails. You're going to send them personal newsletters, personal offers, and so. And all of these products are specifically created for them. And for example, some examples of this kind of relationships are the private banking. If you go to private banking because you have a huge amount of money, the bank, the people that works at the bank are going to give you a special attention, and you are going to feel like you are the only customer of the bank. And also luxury brands, as I've said, Louis Vuitton or Loewe, and so. Okay. The automatized customer relationship, as I said, simulates the direct communication with an automated mechanism. Here, the maximum trend is being the artificial intelligence. These first tools that we are seeing are chatbots that are more and more sophisticated as the time goes by and the technology evolves. In the self-service, for example, you have e-commerce is a great example of service. If you enter into the Amazon marketplace, you perform the whole purchase process without anybody assisting you. Then also a call center is a self-service. You call for your need, and you are going to maybe an automatized service is going to answer for your different needs. And in the e-commerce, we have marketplaces as Amazon, for example. The communities, for example, the social media closed groups, as I have said, these WhatsApp groups that we have in order to generate a more dynamized communication, or any specific community. They can even meet physically, or maybe you can create a loyalty program. For example, Sephora has a great loyalty program for their customers, and it is amazing the different the relationship that they create with this loyalty program. Here you have some examples. Sephora and Microsoft are some examples of these loyalty programs that are really well developed and really well implemented. And finally, we have the co-creation, the social media interactions and publications, in which you interact and you listen to your customers in order to improve your service or your product in a continuous way. The reviews and the images, the video of their experience. For example, you can ask to your customers to create your marketing. There are some brands that include the pictures of their customers with their products, and they publish these pictures in their social media, so they do not have to create and to generate this content, because the customers are generating this content and they are using this to promote themselves. Okay, and it's a real a real way to show that the customers are happy, and it generates a lot of confidence in other potential customers to buy your products. If not the most famous influencer is promoting the product, but your neighbor is promoting this product, you're going to see more reliable you're going to see that this brand is more reliable because they are not paying to these people to say these good things for the product. Okay, they are just generating this engagement because they are real people, not people that are being paid for this service. You can also create podcasts about the product or service or service. Now podcast is a really used tool, so the podcasts are a modern way to also promote your product, and also to pay for influencers. For example, Nike is a brand that does this kind of co-creation strategies. And once we have defined the different relationships that we want to set with our customers, we have to define the channels that we are going to use to implement this customer relationship. So these channels that are the tools that we are going to use help us to reach our audience, okay? So we have to define the methods of communication that we are planning to use in order to spread the word about my business and to reach new customers and to reach also our key partners, because the communication channels are also really important to create synergies with potential partners, okay? So for example, some examples are the social media or the TV advertisement or the door-to-door selling that is less common in some kind of solutions, but it exists, okay? So these channels are going to describe how the company communicates and how the company reaches the market segments in order to deliver the value proposition, okay? So the communication, distribution, and the sales channels are the interface with the customers and with the partners, and are the touch points that play an important role in the customer experience, okay? If we have a great definition of our customer relationship, but we do not have the proper channels, we are going to fail in our objectives, okay? We are not going to meet the objectives that we have set. So these channels have different purposes. So on one hand, they help us to raise the perception about among our customers about the company and the products and services. For example, if we are a fashion brand, we have to be on Instagram. And we have to use a really aesthetic and a really visual and beautiful communication if we want to reach our customers. Maybe we have on our minds that we want to create a community with our customers, that we want to be a really close brand, and that we want to individualize the customer relationships, but our Instagram account is a total mess. So we are not going to communicate our values and our value proposition and our products. We are not going to promote our products in a proper way if we do not take care of our Instagram account, okay? This is an easy example of social media communication for a fashion brand. It also helps the customers to evaluate the value proposition, okay? If the channels that we offer to our customers work properly and they meet the promise that we have made with our brand and our solution, the customers will perceive and will evaluate in a positive way our value proposition. And we are going to allow also our customers to purchase the products and the specific service through our channels. For example, if we have a website and in this website we include our e-commerce, we are going to allow our customers to buy our solution through this e-commerce that is on our website, that it's a great channel to communicate and to deliver the value proposition to the customers. and it serves to deliver a value proposition to our customers, as I've said, and it also provides a post-sale support for customers, okay, through the website, through the e-commerce, through the social media, or whatever, or through the phone calls or the call center or whatever. We are going to offer the different post-sale support, and the post-sale support is really important to keep the customer satisfied. Just imagine that I have both your service or your product, and I see that the service that you have sold or the product that you have sold to me, this does not meet the value proposition or does not meet the promise that you made me. Maybe this is because this specific service is not has something wrong, and I find that my product is not working properly. Okay, so I need this post-sale service in order to communicate to the brand or to the business that my product is not working properly, and I will talk to you. I will apologize for this, and I will help you to solve the problem, or I will send you a new version of the product that works properly, and I will keep my customer happy. This is a customer relationship. This is a channel. The post-sale is a channel that the different channels that we offer to offer this, that we are going to have to offer this post-sale service. It is really important to solve all the problems and to keep our customers satisfied, okay? I'm sure that you as customers have seen that a business or a company that offers you this post-sale service, you are going to prefer this brand against other that when you have any problem after buying the product, they say that they do not have nothing to do and goodbye. Okay, maybe I'm going to choose the one that is going to help me after buying the product. Okay. And here we have the classification of the different channels. This classification could be done in two ways. On one hand, we can make this classification based on the function of the channel. Okay, so we have communication channels, we have distribution channels, and we have sales channels. Okay, the communication channels are the one that helps us to communicate and to deliver the value proposition through these marketing strategies or to answering the customer requirements and whatever. So the communication channels are going to be, for example, the email. A newsletter is also a communication. Social media, it's a great great tools to communicate. The call centers, the different blogs in which we are going to publish different news about our brand or different interesting articles, and also physical communication points. For example, a store. We are going to see that a physical store is a channel that covers these three kind of functions, okay? Because in the store you can communicate to your customer, but you are also distributing your products and you are also selling your products. The distribution channels could be owned by the brand, okay? For example, the own physical sales points. When we go to a Sarah store, we are in a distribution point. Or could be a third-party store, maybe a multi-brand store in which we can find, for example, mobile phones of different brands. If we go to a multi-brand mobile phone, cell phone store, we are going to find, for example, Nokia, we are going to find iPhone, we are going to find Xiaomi or whatever. We are going to find different brands. This is a third-party store. Then we have our own e-commerce. For example, Zara has its own e-commerce, or we are going to sell our products through a marketplace such as Amazon, in which we can find different stores and different brands in the same place, okay? And then we have the sales channels, okay? And the sales channels promote the sale of our products. For example, if we are in a physical store, we can offer free samples of our product to the customer, or we can offer complementary products to the one that the customer is buying. For example, if I am buying a cell phone, I could sell you the case of the cell phone, and I am promoting sales or special offers or fairs. If I go to a fair, maybe I could promote my products or my services. For example, there are tourism fairs, there are fairs about technology, fairs about the automobile fair, and so, okay, these are presential events that help us to to promote our products and other kind of events. And then we can also classify the channels according to the customer relationship. Okay, we have direct and indirect communication. The direct could be the web page, the commercial department of the business, the sales department too, or the own stores. And the indirect are the third parties web, stores, agents, or newspapers, the not owned or controlled media. Maybe if for example, we are being announced in other web pages, this is an indirect communication, okay? Because we are not having total control of what is being said in this web page. And the final point that we are going to see are the revenue streams. The revenue streams is the point that is going to help us to fix the price strategy that we are going to follow, okay? So we have to wonder ourselves, how will my business make profit and where will the revenue come from? And which is going to be the price that I'm going to fix for my product, okay? So you have always to find the balance between what you need to charge and what is the amount the customer is willing to pay for my product, and to see if the price that I'm going to fix, it's going to be able to maintain my business. It is going to be able to make my business sustainable. So we have two kinds of revenue streams. As I've said, it represents the money that the company generates from each market segment. And if customers represent the heart of the business, okay, my customers are the heart of my business model, the streams are the arteries of this heart, okay? So we have on one hand, the one-time customer payments. I go, I pay for the service, I obtain the service, and I do not pay anymore for that. And the continuous service payment, okay? That I'm going to charge a fee, monthly, weekly, daily, I don't know, it is yearly, for this service. For example, I'm sure that you want to consume Disney Plus, you're going to pay once per year the fee that Disney Plus offers you, and you're going to enjoy for the service during a year. And if you are consuming Netflix, you are going to pay a monthly fee, okay? You're going to pay a fee of €8, for example, per month, and you're going to enjoy of your Netflix account during 1 month. And next month, you're going to pay again for another month. And when you want to interrupt the service and you don't want to use Netflix anymore, you stop paying and your month ends and you are not going to have more Netflix. Here we have the different models of revenue streams. As you can see here, there are lots of kinds of revenue of price strategies. On one hand, you have the direct sales. You can find that kind of price strategy in physical and in digital stores, in both of them. It is really, really easy to understand this kind of price strategy. You acquire the product and you pay for it. The easiest example is if you go, for example, to a store, you want a pair of sneakers, you pay for the sneakers and you go home with your sneakers. Or maybe you enter in the e-commerce, you pay for the sneakers, they deliver these sneakers to your home, and that's it. You have finished the relationship with them. You pay, you acquire, you pay, that's it. Then you have the solution pay-per-use. Pay-per-use is that you pay for the service, a fee, in order to use it. For example, your cell phone, you pay monthly a fee to use your cell phone, not cell phone, the services, the internet service. You pay for the internet, you use the internet. That's it. When you want to stop to use this service, okay, stop paying and you won't have the service anymore. That is that this means that you have available this service as long as you pay for it. But when you do not pay, you stop paying for it, you are not going to have the service available. It is completely different from the direct sales, because you pay once and you can use this product forever. And in the pay-per-use, you pay for it during a determined a specific amount of time, that is covered by this fee. Okay. And then you have the subscription. You pay for a subscription, for example, Netflix, Amazon, Prime, Disney Plus, Audible. You are paying for a subscription. You don't even have the service. You are paying to enter into their platforms and to have not only the service of watching series or whatever, but also the related services that are that go in the back of this subscription. Okay. Then you have the commission. It is really similar to the pay per use, but it is not exactly the same. Then you have the commissions. Okay. Commissions, it is a flow of income that is obtained by the intermediation that is made between entities. For example, if you want to buy a house, okay, you go to a real estate company, you ask for the different houses that they are selling at this point. They give you the service, they give you advice, they show you different houses, different flats. And in the end, you have decided to buy a specific flat, okay? When you buy for this flat, there is an amount of money in the whole price that it is going to be directly to the real estate agency, okay? Because of the services. So they increase the final price of the product because in this increase, they include a part of the money that they are going to charge to you. But it is not charged on the final product directly. It is a part of the final price. I don't know if I have explained myself, but imagine that the house has a price of 200,000 euros, okay? 200,000 euros for this flat, and 20,000 euros are for the real estate agency, and 180,000 euros are going to the person that owns the flat. Okay. Then you have the rental price strategy. This is also really common. For example, you live in a flat and you pay monthly for this flat, or you pay monthly for this office. You are paying for the use of something, but it's a physical thing, and you have not only you can enjoy not only of the flat, but you have also some duties attached to this rental fee that you are paying. Okay. Because if you're living in a flat, you are paying for the use of the flat, but maybe you also have to pay for the different for the water, for the light, for the gas if you need it, for the internet. You have to pay if something happens in the flat, or if you want to change something, if you want to for example, I don't know. Include a new feature in the house, you have to pay for it. Okay, it's like you are the people that owns the flat, but with some restrictions. You are paying for it. Then you have the renting and the leasing. These two price strategies are similar to the rental one, but they are not exactly the same. Okay, the best way to understand the renting is a car. Okay, you are using a service or a product, and you are not performing the maintenance. Okay, for example, you go to a place in which they sell cars. Okay, you go there and you say that you want this car. They offer you to pay 300 euros per month, and you are going to have a car. But this car is going to be for you during a limited time. Okay, you are going to pay 300 euros per month during 4 years. And after these 4 years, they are going to sit with you again and they are going to say, okay, do you want to continue with the renting? And you say, yes, I want to continue with the renting. Okay, give me the car and I will give you a new one. You are going to make like a renovation of the service each 4 years. And you are going to pay for the use of the car, and you're going to pay for you are going to you cannot use this car, drive this car more kilometers than the kilometers that you have agreed with the salesperson, but this is more complex than this is a complex concept. But the summary of the concept is that you pay for the car, but if something happens with the car, they are going to make the maintenance of the car, and you don't have to pay for it because you are paying for the maintenance also. Okay, imagine that, I don't know, you have a crash and it is not your fault because you were, for example, stopped at a traffic light and suddenly someone hits you from behind, and they crash you from behind, and you have an accident, and the car needs maintenance because the accident was not really. It was not a great crash, so you have some. The car is a little bit broken, but it works perfectly. You are okay. It has been a minor accident, and you go to the brand. Imagine that it's Volkswagen. I don't know. You go there, and they just repair and make the maintenance of the car, and they do not charge for that because you are paying 300 euros per month, and in these 300 euros includes the maintenance. And after the time that you have agreed with Volkswagen, you have to return the car. You cannot pay more and buy the car. No, you have a fee, you pay for the fee, you enjoy the car during 4 years, and after 4 years, you have to restart again the service. And this is the difference. This point is the difference with leasing. Leasing is the same, rent is the same. You pay for the car, they do the maintenance and whatever, and all the things. But when the contract ends, you can buy the item. That is, after 4 years, are you happy with your car? Yes. Do you want a new one? And you say, no, I want to buy this one. Okay. You have this option. You have the option to buy it and to be the one that is responsible of the car. And we are not going to help you anymore. Okay. You are not going to pay 300 per euros. You have paid for the car, and that's the end of the contract. Then we have the franchising price strategy. Okay, the franchising price strategy means that you charge for the permission of using your brand. For example, McDonald's has this model. Imagine that I want to open a restaurant, but I do not have any idea of how to do it. So I go to McDonald's, I make a contract with them, and they sell me, they make me pay, okay, for the use of the brand. And they are going to give me the brand because I'm going to open a restaurant, but this restaurant is going to be McDonald's that is really famous, and it is shared that people is going to come to me to buy food because I do not have to do nothing. The brand is created. I am paying for using this brand, okay? And they are going to give me all the instructions to create the brand. They are going to tell me how I am going to buy the products, who are going to be my providers, how I am going to offer the product to the customer, the design of the whole restaurant. Okay, I'm going to have everything, and I have to pay for this permission of using this brand and all this methodology. But this is a franchise. I am the owner of the place, and I have to compromise and to commit that the whole execution of the different methodologies and processes is going to be done under the McDonald's brand. Okay. But the money that I earn is for me. It's not for McDonald's. It's for me. I will pay McDonald's charge this fee, but it will be a percentage of the earnings of the restaurant. I am going to earn money on my own, thanks to, but I have to pay to McDonald's because they are helping me to earn money. Okay. And finally, we have advertising. Okay, I am going to charge the dissemination service to other companies. For example, Google Ads. I pay to Google in order to announce myself, to advertise myself. You enter into Google and you're going to see a lot of advertisings of a lot of brands, and Google is charging this promotion and is charging this service. Okay. For example, YouTube does the same. Each time that you watch an advertisement on YouTube, YouTube is charging for this advertisement, and it's earning money from you, because it is helping you to promote yourself. Okay, because this is the last session. It has been a pleasure to me to work with you. I hope that these videos have helped you in the development of your ideas. So once again, thank you.